Hi everyone, Shaun McCann, Senior Support Engineering Manager. I am joined by Lyle, and we are going to do a quick overview of the key metrics review for September. Lyle.
Yeah, so the first thing we have to say is this is the key review meeting for September that we had today at the end of October. And so the things that we presented were out of date compared to what your lived experience may be today. But still important because this is what we present to the execs. We present once a month. And so if they get this information, like they're getting it out of date too, and some of their questions might feel out of date. So the highlights that we presented would be the license and renewal progress and results. As you recall, we had a great pizza party and it was delicious. So definitely wanted to highlight just the overall results that the L&R team has gotten. The other would be like the challenge from 2 months ago or 3 months ago was reducing our free user costs by 50%. We presented the data from that today, and everybody was very, very, very pleased with that. And then looks like this month we have more than 75% of our tickets have linked docs, MRs, and issues. There's a question of how we did it so well, because in the past 2 months it's gone up quite a bit. But still, that is exactly what we want to see. And then, of course, self-managed, the results across the board are very, very good and have been for the past year. The not-so highlights, definitely it's been a dip in SSAT. September was much lower, 90%. So there's some questions about how we're going to be taking care of that. Median reply time continues to trend up, which means that we're just taking longer to get through tickets. And then we also wanted to highlight some of the difficulties we've had recruiting. So getting from support engineers out in the world to support engineers within GitLab. It's challenging. I will not be doing this part next month. So Tom Cooney is actually going to be recording this little summary as his sort of pre-work for the key meeting. And so we'll make sure we include that, and I don't have to speak on Tom's behalf. Shaun, they had some requests for us. What did we?
They did. So the highlighted requests that we had that came through from the conversation, unsurprisingly, focus on SSAT. So September wasn't a great month for SSAT. So there was a little bit of a discussion around what can we do to improve that. It is one of the KPIs that we do measure ourselves against as a global team. So understandably, that was the request. Let's do what we can to get back to meeting our KPIs with SSAT. There was also a relatively large discrepancy in SLA achievement for silver and gold. So it was, what can we do to try and improve that? Again, this is for September, not for October. Things are already looking a lot better. But obviously there was the concern around, hey, it is a KPI. What can you as a team do to make sure that you are attaining the results that you have committed to? This next one was a naming change of free to core, but this is reporting only. So just to avoid some confusion, there are some name change requests that are going on for the product set that I think we're all aware of, which are still in flight. Nothing's actually landed just yet. And in order to help people that watch the videos and actually attend the key meeting reviews understand the differences and the distinctions between the two, we'll be making sure that we are changing the naming appropriately when we're talking about core customers instead of bundling everyone as a free customer, regardless if they are SaaS or self-managed. There is also some focus being given on SLA for prospects. So this is something that historically we haven't really done. It's a reactive thing where account teams need to approach support and say, hey, this is an important prospect, please can we make sure that we're giving them SLAs and getting to their work. There is an action item on finance to try and figure out how and if this can be funded as part of our FY22 planning. So no action for us yet, but just be aware that this could be something, and it will probably be something that we're going to be focusing on as we go into next financial year, where we will actually be doing an SLA for prospect customers as well as already paying customers. We also went through a brief discussion on headcount planning for next year. Sid wanted to emphasize to the group that it's about collaboration as a key ingredient to getting good results, and making sure that as we're thinking through the different metrics we need to be looking at, as we're thinking through how that planning and the metrics used for that planning need to shake out, that there is a strong focus on teamwork and collaboration. I'm reading directly from Lyle's notes because I think he put it really, really well. Docs as an avenue for ticket deflection. Sid, of course, put it really well when he said, look, it takes more time to go out and make sure that our documentation is good and solid and referenceable, but it ends up reducing the number of tickets coming in. So while it might take 10 minutes to go through and get that doc in tip-top shape, potentially it's deflecting 10 tickets further down the line, which could be a lot more time. So it's definitely worth doing. Lyle, I'll pass over to you on the OKR update.
Now, normally at this time we would provide an update on our OKRs, but since our OKRs for next quarter haven't started yet, I guess we could talk about the other ones, but we're not prepared to do that today. So we're in a weird state. Shaun already did a great video about our next quarter's OKRs. There was one change since that video was made, and that is that engineering is going to be working on getting 100% of folks in the engineering department doing their diversity, inclusion, and belonging training. I put a note about this in our Support Week in Review, and so go ahead and get started. It is a lengthy training, and you do not want it to catch you by surprise because it takes a long time. But yeah, I think that is it for OKR updates this time. Sure.
I will close us out with path forward. What next? What are we actually going to be looking at? So there's two main things that the wider team should be aware of. On the 10th of November, there is a process change, which is going to be removing APAC sales team members from being able to manually generate licenses through the license app, which means that the workflows that they would normally follow, which would result in them manually generating a license, is going to be coming through to support. We're already prepared for this. We have labels created so we can track workload. We have issue templates where other team members are able to make the requests coming into us. So that communication has already been shared with the regional director of APAC sales. That'll be enforced on the 10th of November. So just bear in mind that that is something that's coming up. The other one is there is a work group that has been put together for SSAT, as we were talking about a little bit earlier. Mike Dunninger is the DRI for that. So if you have any specific questions around that work group, he's a good person to go to. As work groups on KPIs do, there are updates which are shared in the managers' interregional syncs. Those meeting notes are open to everyone, so please feel free to open those up and read through or reach out to Mike. That's everything for this month. If you have any questions, any comments, anything at all, please reach out to myself, to Lyle, to Lee, to Tom Cooney. We will happily do what we can to answer anything. Lyle, any final thoughts from you?
And Val, you can reach out to Val too.
Good catch, and Val. Thank you very much, everyone. We will give you another update for October when we have that key meeting review. Keep being awesome, and thank you so much.